Come one, come all, action figure lovers. This is Sprues and Studs, and today we are going to be taking a look at a McFarlane action figure. I kind of wish that McFarlane would crank out as much Warhammer 40K stuff as Joy Toy does, but unfortunately, they're not as prolific as Joy Toy when it comes to these Warhammer 40K action figures. They actually make some good products for the amount of money that you're paying for it. So we're going to be taking a look at the Darktide Ogryn today, and this guy is a big burly dude, and I want to see the exact level of loving detail that McFarlane has put in it. You're here to take a look at the Ogryn, so let's just do exactly that.
Time to open the big boy.
Seal number 1, number 2, 3, and the 4. Unveiling.
Ah, it's a big boy.
All right, the Ogryn is out of his plastic shell, and I might add that this guy is a monstrous figure. So that's probably why it cost $40 to get this guy. So you are definitely paying for a lot of plastic. So when I'm lifting this up right now, you can really feel the heft and the chunk. And I think this guy actually might be heavier than the orcs that were reviewed not too long ago. So this is likely going to be the heaviest and the biggest figure that probably is going to be reviewed in recent memory. So let's take a look at this gigantic beast of a transhuman. Starting off with looking at his head, he's got this characteristic Ogryn sneer going on, which is really cool, very menacing, very, very brutish. So looking at the eyes, they look like they're pretty decently screened. You can actually see the iris and the pupils on this thing, which is really cool. And then you have an Aquila stamped or tattooed his forehead, further proving that he is definitely tied and dedicated to the Imperium. You also have a lot of shading that's going on at the eye socket area. There's plenty of detail with the lips as well as the teeth. So it's nice that you're able to differentiate some of the detail here. Now let's just take a look at this big, beefy, burly shoulder region. And I guess it's got the Ogryn equivalent of pauldrons up here. And the thing I like about McFarlane is it comes with already battle damage here. So you see a lot of battle damage here, a bunch of scrapes, a big ding that's going on up here as well. You flip it around, there's a bunch of dings and scrapes with the armor. I love this detail right here that McFarlane always puts in his figures. So excellent job there. And with the other shoulder pad, you get a lot of these little bumps here, which further gives this thing more character as we are taking a look at it. So let's just take a look at the arm and the flesh that's on the arm. So it's actually very noticeable that there is no shading whatsoever on this arm right here, which is a little bit of a disappointment. I would have liked it if they would have had some shading deep in this musculature. I think it would be pretty easy to put shade, but that's okay. And then moving on to the gloved area, again, more texture, more detail, fantastic. So you've probably got like a bullet ding here. Definitely more scrapes on this leather. So we're going to take a look at the other arm over here. And the other arm apparently has a bunch of tattoos. I'm guessing these are probably kill marks. And then as we're looking at the fist area, you pretty much have like almost like a knuckle duster or some kind of close combat weapon in order to punch the enemy's lights out. Let's look at this chest area. This chest has a leather strap that is running all along the Ogryn's body, and you can definitely tell this texture also. It's very realistic, very leather-like as we are looking at this over here. And once again, this armor piece is pretty amazing too. It comes again with the battle damage and battle scars that this Ogryn has received over the time. Then as we look a little bit down here, it has a bunch of textured cloth here, like to mimic some sort of tank top. We're actually going to take a look at the back because we got a lot of stuff going on too. So you have the continuation of the leather strap, and then apparently this armor back here is all leather too. So you can see the more detail on the leathering. All right, looking at the waist region, you have more textured pouches right here. You've got this really thick chain in the back of this Ogryn that attaches to more pouches in the front, as you can see. More pouches here. And then you have the characteristic Imperial Aquila over here as well. This gigantic belt buckle, which really sticks out. And down here you have the double Aquila. That is the most common icon of the Imperium that you see. More texture, more detail. And speaking of more texture and detail, we're looking at the leg and pants region, and this texture is just amazing to me right here. You can just feel the texture of the cloth, and I love the folds that are going on too. It's very realistic how McFarlane has made this action figure. Then you can see this like fatigue pattern going on here with the like an army camo. This definitely would probably look really cool if I decided to paint this thing to actually make the shading really pop out, you know? But that's for another day. And then we are going to progress onto these badass steel-toed boots. Look at this thing. And the amount of detail that McFarlane has put into these boots. It's just like, these things are definitely like shit kickers, man. Seriously. They're so huge and so imposing. You've got this huge buckle in front and probably some armor to protect the shin area. And then you can see all the laces that are down here with the boots. These definitely have got to be steel-toed. And it's capped exactly like a steel-toed boot. So we're going to put this bad boy down and look at this gigantic ripper gun. So this thing is insane looking because it's literally almost half the size as a Space Marine as we're taking a look at it. So this ripper gun, you can see that there's a huge magazine cartridge here, and look at the size of these bullets. You can't even call them bullets. You can probably call them like artillery shells. Very massive looking. And then you have this melee blade that's going on over here, and once again, the melee blade has a bunch of dings and scrapes that are built in, which definitely proves that this thing is well worn and very, very well used. All right, let's see how this Ogryn moves. I'm not going to hold my breath in saying that this is going to be a very mobile action figure. So let's see how much action is actually in this figure. So starting off with the head, I'm going to budge this a little bit. And the joints are very tight, so you got a very Exorcist kind of look. But apparently you can do a 360-degree rotation here. And there's also some wiggle room, as you're seeing up here, up and down. It just feels kind of restricted, in my opinion. And then let's take a look at how the arm rotates. I believe we can do 360 with this guy. Yes, we can. 360 up here. The elbow region, it's probably only 90 degrees, I'm assuming. Yes, it is 90 degrees about the elbow. And then the wrist area, you can do a 360-degree rotation. But I don't think you have any sort of lateral movement. It is very restricted in what it can possibly do. Now, about the torso and waist region, I don't think we're going to get that much movement. Let me pull this guy out of the way. Look at that. He's flexing. Anyway, I'm trying to move this around, and it looks like his range of motion is very, very restricted. So we're probably only looking at, what, tops 45 degrees? So he's definitely not meant to rotate that much. Let's take a look at the leg region. We can probably kick the leg out over here, and then the maximum kick out is out here. So there's really not a lot of movement that's going on with this action figure as well. So about the knee, you can move it about this much. There's a lot of pushing that's involved with it. So you can take the knee area, pull it back like that, and that is your maximum rotation. Let's take a look at what we can do with the feet. Not much rotation with the feet either. It's very restricted, as you can see. There's a bunch of ratcheting going on, as you can hear. Finally, with the steel-toed boots, you can actually flip it up like this. Now that we've explored the limits of this beastly man's movement, let's outfit him with his ripper gun. Goodness gracious me. Woo! Well, would you look at that? The Ogryn actually can properly grip this ripper gun. Hands are fully on the trigger and definitely wielding it, unlike some manufacturers that we know and love. More finagling. involved with this thing. Good God. All right, brothers and sisters of the chapter, let's wrap this one up. Seriously, would you just look at the size of this dude? He is so massive. I cannot get over it. So, what did you think of this guy based on my review? Is it something that you would possibly get? I would actually, in all honesty, encourage you to get this guy. This is very unique in that I don't believe that any kind of toy manufacturer to date has manufactured an Ogryn. So what do I like about this action figure? Well, I really like the amount of texture and the detail that McFarlane has put in. Over and over again, I was praising McFarlane about, the textured fabric down with the pants and then the steel-toed boots, as well as the nicks, dings, and scrapes on the armor piece, and his absolutely flawless execution. With regards to the paint, I actually don't mind it, to be honest. Most of these Imperial Guard type action figures are supposed to have a sort of like modern day militaristic muted tone kind of look. So the way that McFarlane has painted and decided to color this action figure is completely on point and perfect. So once again, this is your host, Spruce and Studs, and thank you for tuning in and watching this action figure review. I am, again, very, very appreciative of you all tuning in religiously to watch my reviews. It's very humbling and flattering to me. So thank you for your devotion and dedication, as I wouldn't be here without you. So please leave a comment in the comment section. I love engaging with dialogue with every single one of you. And with that, I will see you all in the next one.